Hey, what's up? What's up? She Sound Off podcast and YouTube family. Welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Keita. And just want to let y'all know that it is late, okay? It is late, but I made a commitment to myself that I was going to do another episode, and this is me sticking to those commitments. You know, it's not that easy to stick to, certain commitments when you are a full-time mom. I have a full-time job, pursuing other endeavors, but you know what? There's 24 hours in a day, and if I'm gonna make the most of them, I have to stick to what the fuck I set out to do. So that's what I'm doing. Lately, I've been going through I had a huge shift in my life, and it has caused me to make certain moves. I'm evolving, and through that evolution, I'm going through different transformations. One of the main one is manifestation. I want to talk about manifestation a little bit. I know what it is. I know I've heard people talk about it. I've done a ton of research on it, and I definitely believe in manifestation 100%. But I never realized that I had that power inside of me. Why? Because I had so many fucking blocks. I had blocks that I didn't want to deal with because it was easier for me to brush that shit in the closet, to brush it under a rug or sweep it under a rug. It was easy for me to do that, to deal with those blocks. It was easy for me to not deal with those blocks and to put them off, sweep them under the rug. But little did I know I was making my life harder by doing so. By sweeping those blocks, not healing things that I've been traumatized from, by not dealing with situations, I was allowing myself to just get blocked and blocked and blocked. It's like when a sink clog, if you don't get that shit out immediately, then it's going to pile up. And eventually it'll be harder to unclog that sink. And that's how blocks are. If you have blocks in your life and you're refusing to deal with them, then you're making it hard on yourself. And I did not realize that. And so, when I decided to deal with those blocks, when I decided to do some shadow work, face my childhood traumas, when I decided to hold myself accountable and stop playing the blame game, and I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit, the blame game. But when I decided to stop playing the blame game and to look to myself and quit trying to make excuses for why I feel like I'm not where I should be, a shift happened and a transformation started. So much so that I've decided to vlog about that journey. Wherever it's taking me, wherever it's going to take me, I do not know. But what I do know is when you follow spirit, when you follow your heart, when you follow your desires and your gifts, it takes you on this beautiful journey, and it takes you somewhere that didn't even dream that you could go to. It takes you to unmeasurable heights that you'll look back on your life if you face your fears and just jump off that ledge, not knowing what's going to happen, have complete faith. It takes you to places that you won't even believe. And so I want you to come along on that journey with me. I've told you all my business anyway, so it won't be no different in me, sharing this. Through this transformation, I'm evolving and I'm changing. And what happens when you change? The things around you change. Your visions change. So She Sound Off is going to evolve as well. I have not dedicated not even half of the energy that I could dedicate into my brand, She Sound Off. I have not dedicated anything to as much as I could because I was so blocked with all of life circumstances, and I was sending out so much energy to the wrong causes that I haven't been able to really take care of my gift and really enjoy it and really put it out there. So this is me. This is what I'm going to do. Living My Transformation is my vlog that I'm going to actually host on She Sound Off Podcast YouTube channel. And it's going to be from start to finish. And whatever, I don't know what the finishing point is at this point, but I know what the starting point is. And it's that shift that I recently made that I'm going to talk about on the blog, or the vlog. So watch out for that. It should be coming. I should start it probably this week or next week. You know, I got a lot of shit going on, but I promise you, this is really important for me. This is me stepping out of my shell. It's like the phoenix or a butterfly, you know, right to the naked eye, you know, they're done for. You know, the phoenix rises from the ashes. You know, the caterpillar goes into cocoon mode, and then out comes the beautiful butterfly. So this is my transformation, and this is me coming out of my shell. I'm calling it a shell. This is me coming out and living the best version of myself that I could possibly live. And I want to share that with my She Sound Off family, those who have listened to me and those who will be listening to me in the future, because I know what I know what to expect once I put my mind, my dedication, and my passion and my drive and everything into, you know, what I want to do. I know what's going to come out of it. So I'm just really glad that you can share that journey with me, and many, many, many more. I got to adjust my camera. Anyway, I want to sound off real quick. I'm super tired, y'all, but I'm going to make a quick, episode tonight. And then I'll be back again in a couple days and do something real fresh. But I want to sound off to the blame game. And the reason I wanted to do this is because during this transformation, I've noticed that when I lay down a lot of things, one of them being excuses, doors start opening up for me. Immediately, they started opening up for me. If you ever wonder why you can't get to that next level, I talked about blocks earlier, but one of those blocks could be you not taking accountability for your actions, choices, and your life. So I want to sound off to the blame game. For a long time, I kept telling the same story over and over and over and over and over. Now, I didn't physically tell this story to people. I would sometimes talk about how bad or how rough my childhood was, and, you know, how it, affected me, how it's affected me as an adult, and, blah, 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 blah. I told that story so much that I believe that is who I was, that's who I was. That story became who I was, and I was able to use that as a crutch to stay stagnant. But then I would always question, like, why the fuck aren't I moving ahead? You know, why every time I have this burst of energy to create or to manifest things, or not even manifest things, that's the wrong word, to start something new, how come I procrastinate? How come I put it off? And what I would do is I would create these excuses in my head, and that's what I would blame my success on. For an example, I didn't have the best, and this is the story that this is one of the main stories that I used to tell myself in my head so much that, like I said, it became who I was. I didn't have the best life growing up as a child. I'm from Gary, as I probably have said in previous podcast episode, I'm from Gary, Indiana. And, I can just remember a lot of things growing up. We grew up in the projects. Well, I lived in the projects. back and forth. Like my parents, we never settled anywhere. You know, we was always moving around, going to different schools and stuff. And this is what I remember. I remember the struggle, real time struggle. And so there was a lot of very important life lessons that I missed out on that I would have benefited as an adult. One of them being being grounded, you know, planting yourself somewhere so that you can have the stability to move differently, so that you can have the stability to go to that next level or plan things out, you know. So for a long time, I would say, you know, I moved around so much as a kid, you know, and I just, you know, I'm just so used to moving around, and it's just natural for me to move all the time. And so I never really planted my feet firmly anywhere in all the years that I've been living. You know, I've always came up with an excuse to move around. I've always came up with an excuse to do this, the excuse to do that. And so that's what I would do. I would blame that of my childhood as to why I'm not living at my best as an adult. And that's the story I told myself over and over and over and over and over. And it didn't help shit. Like the blame game, playing the blame game, it didn't help me at all, because whole time I'm sitting over here playing the blame game and having all these dozens of excuses as to why I'm not putting my best action forward to live in the best version of myself. Whole time I'm doing that, I'm remaining in this place, the stuck place that I'm not even happy in, you know? I've been very unhappy with what I've produced so far. And I'm talking about internally. So, once I realized this, so I went through partly went through this shadow period. I'm not going to say that I've completely went through my shadow period, because I have a feeling that I haven't even touched it. It's like the tip of the iceberg for my shadow period, if you know what I mean. But as I started that journey, that shadow period part, it forced me to take accountability. And so I started telling a different story. And although that was a part of my life, although that was my past, and nobody ever take it away from me, but it cannot happen. Like, it cannot be a part of my present. I can't take the shit that I went through as a child and bring it over to my adulthood. It's impossible. It happened and it's over with. So what I realized is I was telling the same story over and over and over, reliving it in my head, and it stopped me from moving forward. It blocked me from being able to move forward. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize telling the same story is like casting the same spell on yourself over and over and over and over, to the point where you're almost like you're in a Bermuda Triangle. They say you relive the shit over and over and over. Or like that movie Groundhog's Day, when dude was like waking up over in the same day. That's what, when you tell the same story over and over and over, that sad ass story, whatever your story is, and it's in the past, that's what it does to you. It causes you to relive that shit over and over and over. And you stay stuck. You stay stuck in the same place. So once I was able to start taking accountability for everything and saying, hey, that shit's over and done with, my life started changing. I was able to look at the good things that I've produced and build off that. I stopped blaming all the shit from my past on why I am not where I want to be, who I want to be, living the version of myself that I want to live. And I started doing that. Like, I started slowly but surely living that version of myself. I'm not quite there, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm on my way. And it feels a lot fucking better than sitting in sorrow and depression and blaming myself and sitting in that stuck place. It sucks there. It sucks to be in that sucking place. I said this before. It sucks to be in that place. It fucking sucks. Like I don't even know how else to even describe to you, to say to you, like, that place sucks. And all it takes is for you to stop playing the blame game, stop playing victim, and tell a different story. Start telling yourself the story. Start telling a story that you want to live. If you keep living in that same moment over and over, you'll keep reliving it over and over. How do you expect to move forward? I didn't even realize this shit. I didn't realize this until I took accountability. So I started saying, okay, that happened. Now what? I suggest you start there. So this happened. Now what? I was married for 20 years. He cheated. I got a divorce. He left me, whatever. Now what? How do you tell a different story? Because what happens to you in the past is yours, you know? But why the fuck do you want to walk around carrying? It's like you walking around with this big bag of your past and you carrying it and you're struggling with that bag. Every time something happened to you, you add to that bag. You keep adding to that fucking bag until it's weighing you down. Now you're walking like, you know, you can't even hardly walk. You can't even hardly move. You can't make any major moves because you're carrying that big ass bag of old shit that does not serve you. You can't do anything with that. You can't do anything with those past issues and problems, those childhood traumas, except heal them. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about healing. The only thing that you can do with those issues that you faced is heal them. The first part of healing them is setting that shit down. Set that burden down. Second part is taking accountability for your part in all that shit. Obviously, as a child facing childhood traumas, you couldn't really do anything about that. However, you could take accountability for your choices as an adult. So it kind of like, yeah, I can't do anything about what I went through as a child. But what I can do is take accountability of the choices I made as an adult, and it kind of balanced itself out. The third thing you can do is to start telling a different story. Well, we're talking about healing that. So the third thing that you can do to heal that is to face them. The triggers, the moments, the memories. Face them. Recognize the emotions that's tied to those memories. Recognize them. What we try to do is we try to fix things and heal things and move past things by suppressing those emotions. That's not how you heal. You let those emotions out. If it angered you, be angry. If it made you sad, cry. If it made you depressed, sit in that moment. Don't stay there. Just sit in it. And then once you sat in there and you've actually felt that shit, then you let it go. Let that energy off into the universe and let it go about its business, because that shit don't belong to you. That energy that you're holding in from those past things that you went through, this don't belong to you because it doesn't serve you. Now you're in a healing process. Now you can begin to make different choices from that. You know, you were once in a situation where you were in a domestic relationship. How do you heal from that? You go through those steps, those 3 steps, but then you learn from them. You can't go back there. Recognize those red flags. Put yourself first. Always, always, always. You know, tell yourself that you're going to love you more. You're going to spend time loving you. And then the next guy or girl that walks into your life, immediately set boundaries. You know, the good thing about teaching and you know, being a motivator is that as I do this, I learn myself, because I'm honest to God, y'all. There'll be like I be planning these podcasts out, but as soon as I started going, I can feel like the spirit of God and the spirit of my ancestors, and I feel like it moves me, and words come out that I didn't even intend to say. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you heal that, and then you don't go back to that moment. So that's how you begin to tell a different story. Then you start by saying, what do I want? What are some things that I want? How do I want my relationship? How do I want the rest of my life? I had a bad childhood. How do I want my children's childhood to be? You know, I've had a bad childhood. How do I give back to children who's going through similar situations that I'm going through? You know, I had a shitty ass relationship. How do I love me more so I can attract the kind of man or woman that I want? You know, I made mistakes in the past and I went to prison, or, you know, whatever. I went to jail. You know, how do I put myself in better situations as best as I can that serves me, that serves my community, where I can make money, or, you know, whatever the situation is. You have to start telling yourself a different story. My bad, y'all. I had to take a quick break. Like my eye. So, letting the cat a little bit out the bag. I've moved to Texas from Minnesota. You remember She Sound Off, Minnesota. Anyway, so my allergies is flaring up really bad. So my throat is scratchy. My nose is stopped up, as you can hear me kind of talking through my nose. So I had to pause the video and go get me some water because the bitch couldn't breathe. It's better. Anyway, I kind of forgot what I was saying, but I had a thought. We are not bound to our past. We're not bound to our past. But repeating your past, I had it all figured out. We are not bound to our past, but repeating our past binds us to it. She Sound Off said that. She Sound Off said that. I think that was pretty dope. We are not bound to our past, but repeating our past binds us to it. So just understand that. So anyway, so I was talking about rewriting your story. When you rewrite your story, it can be whatever feels good to your spirit, whatever feels good to you on the inside. What happens? It manifests into reality. Words are spells. You'll cast a spell if you speak negatively about yourself or to yourself. When you're always blaming yourself, when you don't take no accountability, when you're always being lazy, when you always have excuses, when you always talk down about what you can't do and how hard this is and why this isn't working and nothing ever works for you. Trust me, I was that girl. I was that girl that was like, well, nothing good ever happens to me. Oh, of course this would have happened to me. This is how my life always has been. I've always Like I've always cursed myself. I was consistently cursing myself until I began to tell a different story. And I started saying, like, I am worth everything that my heart's desire. And because it wouldn't be in me if I couldn't make it happen. That's the laws of the universe. And that's the gifts from God. Is whatever you are born with something inside of you that does not match anybody else on this earth. That's called a gift. I always talk about the gift, your gift. And it matches nobody else's. It might seem like it's the same, but baby, let me tell you, you're going to bring something that nobody else on this earth can ever bring to that gift or to that calling. You know? And so if you walk in that, if you live in that, if you tell yourself that you are worth that gift and everything that comes along with it, that is what's going to start manifesting for you. And that's just how it is. So stop the blame game. Tell a different story. And heal from the things that's blocking you from moving forward. Transformation is a must. And transformation is necessary and evolution is a must. So start telling a different story and stop living in the past. And I really hope that you can get what I'm getting out of this. This journey that I'm on is phenomenal and it's a blessing. And I'm so grateful that I have connected with the people that I've connected with, and my growth is unparalleled. You're going to see it. You're going to see it on She Sound Off YouTube channel. And I have a lot of other things in the works. So I'm going to get out of here because I'm fucking tired. My throat is stopped up. My throat is scratchy. My nose is stopped up. But I love you guys. I am going to be making more videos. And if I don't, I just don't. Okay? But anyway, I love you so much. Remember, your alignment is everything. Love yourself, and self-preservation is the first law of nature.